Hi, I'm Dave Hirsch, and I am a trial lawyer. I am the co-chair of the Berg, Simpson, Eldridge, Hirsch, and Jardine Commercial Litigation Department. I try civil lawsuits. Today we're going to talk about the anatomy of a tort claim. When you hear the words, "I'll take you to court," what does that mean? We're going to talk today about civil lawsuits. And no, it's not an oxymoron, civil lawsuit, not like Civil War or giant shrimp. A civil lawsuit is different from a criminal lawsuit because no one's charged with a crime, no one's going to jail, the government is not bringing charges to enforce the criminal law. No, a civil lawsuit is a court action between private parties, companies, people, sometimes the government, usually for money damages, but sometimes to prevent people from taking an action. That's called an injunction. Today, we're going to focus on tort claims. Tort claims are claims that one person has caused an injury to another person. Tort claims are usually for money damages. A car wreck is a good example of a tort claim. So is breach of fiduciary duty or legal or medical malpractice. There are a lot of types of tort claims. In order to bring a tort claim, there are elements that have to be established. First of all, you have to demonstrate that someone has a duty and that they breached that duty to you. Secondly, there have to be damages that arise from the breach. And third, there has to be causation. Let me give you an example to make that a little more comprehensible. Let's take a typical car wreck case. In that situation, the driver coming the other direction has a duty to stay on his or her side of the yellow line. When they cross the yellow line into your lane of traffic, they have breached their duty to you. They're in the wrong place. They're where you're supposed to be. But you don't have a lawsuit yet. You have to have damages, so they have to hit you. And the damages that have to arise before you can have a claim. If they just stay on your side of the yellow line, but they make it back over in time, you don't have a lawsuit because you haven't been damaged. Then the third element is not only do you have to have damages, they have to hit your car, they also have to be damages that were caused by the car wreck. Let's take for an example. You're driving down the road, you start to have a heart attack, and then the driver on the other side of the road crosses the yellow line, breaching their duty to you. They hit your car and scratch your fender and then go back onto their side of the road. Have they caused your heart attack? Clearly not. They've caused the scratched fender, but they're not responsible for the heart attack. Duty and breach of that duty, damages arising from that breach, and causation. Plaintiff is what we call the person that says that, quote, they're going to take you to court, the one who initiates the court action. The defendant is the party being sued. A plaintiff has a burden of proof. We'll talk more about burden of proof another time, but it makes sense. If the plaintiff's going to bring the claim, they have to prove their case. After a case is filed, eventually you end up in court. That's called the trial. If it's a jury trial, and I really like jury trials, they're fun, I have a good time, but they're really important to protect people's rights because the jurors take their jobs very seriously. So if you have a jury trial in your tort claim, or if you're defending a case of a tort claim and you have a jury trial, you really want to have a jury to decide your case. Anyway, as the case goes forward at trial, the jury is seated, they hear all of the evidence, they look at all the documentary evidence, they look at the pictures, they look at the documents. The judge tells them what the law is, and then they go back and they deliberate, and they decide in favor of one side or the other, determining whether or not there's been a breach of duty, damages, and whether or not those damages and to what extent those damages were caused by the actions of the other party. They render a judgment, which the judge then enters and enforces in the court of law. And that's basically the anatomy of a tort claim. If you have a legal matter that I can help you with, please feel free to contact me. You can call me at 303-792-5595, or you can reach me on the World Wide Web at bergsimpson.com. I'm Dave Hirsch, and I am a trial lawyer.